Hi. All right, I have another Beaujolais. Forgive me, I don't know. I feel like they're easily accessible and delicious and a good starting point if you're like starting to geek out about wine. So I like talking about them a lot and I like drinking them. Before I get to the specifics of this wine, just allow me to geek out briefly on the concept of, like why I find natural wine to be interesting and important. And I guess it gets into the concept of typicity. Typicity, not to piss on a city. Typicity. Maybe I'll write it down. So, extra long pause to think about what I'm about to say and not sound like an asshole. I have to do this a lot. Alcohol is never going to be a health product, right? Like, if I guess where I'm coming from is if you're getting into wine, or if you want your wine to be natural or less manipulated or have less additives in it, because you're worried about your health, probably just drink less alcohol. Or if you're worried about feeling shitty the next day, drink things that have less alcohol in them, lower alcohol. And sometimes you have an effect where uh, there is a correlation, but not necessarily a causation. If you're drinking lighter natural wine, it may tend to have less alcohol, but it's not an inherent quality of natural winemaking that's low alcohol. The reason I think uh, the importance of minimal intervention winemaking, and the thing that has made it's not a trend, it's actually the old way of doing things. The non-natural, the maximal intervention winemaking is kind of a modern invention that markets have gotten away from in the past 20 or so years. The thing that minimal intervention winemaking is good for is expressing uh, the the terroir, the vintage, the season, the kind of chaos of the harvest from year to year to year to year. When we say you're making a wine with nothing but grapes and thyme, obviously that's an overstatement, but you're basically saying, from a craft point of view, like as an artist or as an artisan, you're trying to strip away all the things that would mask what is happening in the vineyard, what is happening with the fruit. So what makes specifically a place like Beaujolais or Burgundy or the certain crus of Bordeaux, etc. Anytime where you have a place that has a typicity, where they are known for making a typical type of thing. Yes, to put what I'm drinking today is this Fleurie, which is one of the crus in Beaujolais. To put Fleurie on the label, you do have to do a certain number of things to make sure you're within this sort of typical framework. But the beautiful thing about minimal intervention wine is that it leaves more room for the chaos of the each vintage to shine in the glass, and that's why people get hooked on drinking something like a Beaujolais or a Burgundy, because from year to year you get to follow the differences in those vintages and compare them to one another, and it becomes a little bit of this addictive game, where you're like, you get this in knowledge, and also it's just fun to compare them to one another. And that's why some vintages are more expensive than others. Not necessarily that they're better, but they're more whatever that the market wants. And also some vintages just have a bigger harvest. There's more stuff, there's more material made, more bottles can be made because the more fruit grows, and so there's more product, so that vintage might be cheaper. It doesn't mean that the ones that are more expensive, that may have a smaller harvest, are better. They're just more rare. So all that's to say, that's why I find this bottle so interesting, because there's multiple things going on that I have to balance in my mind. I didn't think I was going to like this wine, but I really, really do. So the producer is Gregoire Hoppenot. Hoppenot, it sounds like he would be a Harry Potter character. Fleurie is the place. The cuvée is Indigene. So I believe this is 2019 vintage. I believe Indigene is his sort of lower tier bottling that has younger vines. He He also makes a Fleurie of older vines and from more select parcels. This is, as far as I know, the first time I'm experiencing this winemaker. He's described as being relatively young, probably about my age, which is young for a winemaker, but old for a human. So 100% Gamay when we're in Beaujolais. Look at the darkness of this wine. Super dark, 14.1% alcohol. I got this online at Garagiste, which is an online marketplace where you kind of send emails and you get to order whatever you want whenever you see something that interests you. So I ordered this months ago and it finally just showed up. When I see a Beaujolais that's kind of affordable that I don't know and that's 14% alcohol, I start to cringe because I'm worried that it's going to be out of balance, and it's not what I want out of Beaujolais. So I see this color, I see the alcohol, I start to think, okay, this is bullshit wine. But then I start digging into it, and it smells really complex. There's like a spice, mulling spice, all kinds of berries, and very dark, very ripe berries, blackberries, blueberries, almost like a jam, like a mixed berry jam thing going on here. With freshness, doesn't smell too alcoholic, and the flavor. I opened this last night and wasn't expecting to make a video about it, but liked it so much I'm doing this on day 2. Still in very good shape. The flavor is quite complex. There's fruit, there's all the some traditional Beaujolais flavors, but the thing that I keep on getting caught up on is this sort of like meaty, earthy, bacon, darkness that is in this wine. So the reason I said I'm conflicted about this wine, on the one hand, it's not necessarily typical for Beaujolais, especially from the crew of Fleurie, but it's delicious. And as somebody who purports to support natural winemaking, this actually is more natty to me than that like fluorescent colored, super quaffable glue juice that feels more engineered to be, they had a vision of what they wanted in the beginning. And that glue, that really light blended wine, usually the product is made with the end user in mind and an end drinking style in mind. This wine is what the vintage gave. So it is dark, it is sexy, it is meaty, it is medium plus almost embodied considering all the elements. And just really surprising. I wouldn't guess that this was Beaujolais. On day 2, it has softened. It doesn't feel as the fruit weight isn't as intense, and with a little chill on it. I might, in a blind tasting, guess that this is Beaujolais, but I don't know. I would be putting this in Spain or central, like Western France, like a Côte, like a Malbec or something, because it's kind of so dark and earthy. But I'm a big fan, honestly. I'm going to be searching out more wines from Grégoire Hoppenot in the future, and I think you should too. Happy holidays.